Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for the VIcki Boutin design team, and this week we are working with a sketch. Thank you so much, Yana, for providing the sketch. It's a fun one because it's a starburst, I can say, or a burst, and you see it right now on the screen. And this type of layouts are super simple to put together and a lot of fun because you can use a lot of paper. You can do so many things with it. So, in true Natalie style or fashion, I am actually going to switch it a bit because you guys know that I'm not that great with sketches and keep it true to them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the sketch 180 degrees. And I'm going to show you how I build my, I'm going to say starburst. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to keep uh, the burst in that case to an 8.5 by 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm more or less have an idea where I want to place the picture. Like I said, I rotated the sketch 180 degrees and I'm going to place the picture as a guide, and I'm just going to start drawing the lines that are going to form the triangles. So you're going to see that I leave a little space in between, and that's just so make sure that when I create the triangles, there's a little space in between. So all I'm doing is just kind of going around and drawing the lines. And once I have them all drawn, I'm not going to go all the way to the center. I already know it's going to go to the center. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting along the lines and just going to give me a guide. And what I do, I'm going to show you one, but I do 2 pages. Why? I do 2 pages because one is going to serve me as a guide and the other one's going to serve me as a guide to cut the triangles. So you're going to see right now all I'm doing is just cutting just to give me an idea. I've already cut a second page to fit the same triangles. I just use the same paper. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to play with it with this little template just to get the papers going and to start creating the triangles. So this layout goes a little bit different to what I usually build. I usually build the background and then go to the papers. This one first I'm going to create the paper star in this case and then go to the background. So I'm going to pull out, because the picture I'm documenting is that of my husband with my nephew and they're really goofy when they get together. I am actually going to pick a lot of masculine tones. So you're going to see that I'm going to bring a little bit of sky blue. I'm going to bring some navy. I'm going to bring some yellow and some green. And I have this idea of actually creating one of the triangles with washi tape, especially because I had that silver and blue. And I actually gonna see that I play with the idea. I wanted to see what it looks like. So my idea was I'm gonna create kind of a candy cane stripe in one of the triangles using that silver washi tape. But the more I put it on and I put it on the paper, I really didn't like it. Now then I realized that there was little stars all over the sketch, and that gave me the idea that actually I'm gonna create a whole bunch of stars to take to replace that stripe. But I'm gonna continue playing with the papers. You're gonna see that I bring some yellow paper, and again, the yellow paper that I'm gonna bring is from Field Notes. I really like that tone of yellow. Um, again, I'm just gonna continue cutting the triangle, getting the paper that I like out of the stash, and I'm using a lot of color Kaleidoscope. Actually, most of it, besides the yellow paper, all of it is actually from color Kaleidoscope. And then I'm just gonna continue, like I said, working on the triangles, and then until I've completely my triangle. Now I kept two of the parts. You're gonna see that there's paper, and those are the ones that I'm gonna replace with stars. So now that I have everything in place, I'm gonna start working on those stars. And for this, I am actually gonna use the washi tape. And I play with some ideas of which washi tapes to use, but I end up using this blue one that has the light bulbs because it had those tones of yellow and green and a lot of the silver. And I'm also gonna use the silver washi tape because I like the texture of it. And then that one that had the little stripes mixed with white. I really like that candy cane effect. And I thought because it's so graphic, it will help with the layout. So you're gonna see that all I'm doing is gluing some of the washi tape. I think not too much, just enough to cut a few stars. I'm just gluing it onto some white cardstock, and this is just plain cardstock that I got from Michael's. And I'm just gonna glue it in place. And you're gonna see when I get to the Y with the stripes, I'm gonna try to keep the stripes so that it make one single line. And once I have them, when I'm happy what I have, I'm gonna take it off camera and I'm gonna use a few dies that I have, star dies, to cut as stars. I'm gonna cut a few big ones and then the rest the smaller ones because I wanna make sure that I can layer them and use them not just coming in those two big stars that form the diagonal design, but also between a nest and between the pattern paper. So now that I have that cemented, I'm gonna go and start working on the background. And my idea for the background is I'm just gonna add some mixed media behind the burst, and you're gonna see some of it peek in between the pieces of paper. So what I'm gonna use for this is a foundation paper that is plain. I have not used the foundation paper. I'm gonna use a little bit of the watercolor markers. I'm starting with blue Hawaiian, but I'm gonna end up using mint julep, blueberry pie, and crushed pineapple. The same colors of papers that I'm using is the same color that I'm gonna bring on the background. And all I did is add a little bit of the watercolor marker onto a piece of acrylic sheet. I'm adding a little bit of iridescent paint, which all I have is a container of iridescent glaze that I was about to finish. I add water onto it and I swirl it and I have iridescent paint. So I'm just mixing it because I want a little bit of the shine to show in between. I want something shiny. Remember, I have all those stars. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add splatters. So you're gonna see, like I said, I did not yes to the paper. I added a little bit of water and then I'm just adding a splatter of the color on top and just helping it move with the water so that it creates, in reality, it's a really messy background. It's nothing, I'm not following any order. Like I said, I'm just, remember, a lot of this is going to be covered with the paper triangles. You're going to see little peaks of the colors coming in and out. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm using blue Hawaiian, mint julep, blueberry pie, and crushed pineapple. And most of it's going to be splatters. You're going to see quite a bit of splatters, which I love because it makes it so easy. But in the center, I'm adding a little bit of water just so the color spreads a little bit more and it gives you the watercolor look. And after that, I'm pretty much done. Because I added quite a bit of water, and I'm going to show you pretty much all the process. It's going to start buckling. So we're going to see in a little bit that I bring a piece of paper towel and start soaking up the little, not the little, but those little puddles. I'm gonna start soaking up the extra liquid that is being deposited there, and that's gonna prevent the paper from warping or like the paper soaking up the entire, not the entire, soaking up the liquid. And after that, I am actually gonna hit it with a little bit of my heat gun just to make sure that it doesn't soak to the paper and it does not warp completely. It is gonna warp a little bit, but not in, but it's pretty much flat. And the key to do that is to soak up the extra water and don't let it sit there because then you're gonna, the paper's gonna start changing the formation of the fibers. And then after that, when you hit it with the heat gun, you're gonna see that I do very lightly, and I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on each spot, just enough to dry up, especially those spots where there's quite a bit of liquid. And I heat it on both sides of the paper, not just the one side. You're gonna see that I lift the paper and go on the other side, and I'm gonna set it aside to dry completely on its own. And it's really shimmery because I added that iridescent paint. But now that I have it ready, I want to bring more of the silver. And silver is not a color that I love, but I think this layout, because it's so masculine, it needs that. I think it's gonna lighten it up a little bit. So for that, I am gonna mix a little bit of the silver iridescent glaze with some iridescent glaze. I just want to tone down the metallic look. I want it to look a little bit softer. So I'm mixing the two colors together, and I'm gonna use this stencil, which is from Field Notes, and I really like those splatter looks. And because I have that on the background already, I'm gonna, once I mix my two iridescent glazes, I am gonna use one of the stenciling brushes, and you're gonna see that I go on a circular motion first, and I'm just adding the little splatters, especially to the diagonal line that I'm forming. I'm gonna add like the little splatters in a circular motion, and then I'm gonna kind of stipple a little bit of the glaze that I'm using. And it's just gonna give me a little bit of texture. You don't see it here on the camera that well, but up close you can see the raised bumps, and that's just gonna help separate it from the stars. And like I said, I'm gonna put a lot of most of the splatters are gonna go around the diagonal line where I'm gonna add the stars, and I'm gonna have a few peeking at the corners because they are gonna be showing from the paper also, I'm hoping. And then I'm gonna set it aside to dry. And because it's such a thin application, even though I stippled the glaze, it's still gonna dry pretty quick. I thought it was gonna dry long. It's gonna take longer to dry, and it didn't. It dried really quick, which made this process kind of a little bit faster. It did take a while to build this, just because you have to build all the layers. Now I had a little bit of the paint of the glaze left. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water just to dilute it, and I'm gonna use it as a color shine. So just add a few more splatters of the shiny silver just around the page, just because I want to bring all the colors together. And then I'm gonna set it aside to dry. Now, while that is drying, I actually worked on some ideas of um what I wanted to do with all the stars. So now that like I said, remember I cut two templates. I'm gonna use the first template. I cut all the triangles to cut the paper, but I'm gonna use the second one just to guide me of where I'm gonna put the pieces of paper. It's pretty much built. It's like putting together a puzzle again. So I'm gonna see that I use my scissors a little bit just to ruffle a little bit the edges, just to rough them up. I think it's gonna bring a little. It's really messy, not messy, but it's really this stress look. When I think of a starburst, I think something that exploded. So once I have that in place, I have an idea where the stars are gonna place. I'm gonna take it to my sewing machine and just go through the center line. And you're gonna see that I left quite a bit of the string or the thread hanging, and I'm okay with that. I'm not loving it, but I don't mind it. Now for the picture, I'm gonna layer then or back it with a piece of paper that has pretty much the darker tones that you see in this layout, just so it stands out when I put it in the center of the starburst. And then I'm adding this piece of ephemera, and I really like cutting the little tab, so it just adds to the layer. And I want to bring that as postcard, and this is all from color Kaleidoscope. And the postcard picked up all the colors that I have on the background. But before I add it to the postcard, I'm gonna add a bit of foam adhesive behind it, and that's just gonna make it stand out from all the papers and everything that I'm gonna add. And then I'm gonna go ahead and glue it right to the center of the starburst, and I'm gonna start layering all the stars. And that's why it took me a little bit longer, just because I had an idea. I know that blue star is gonna be pretty much there. It's gonna be the center of the layout, and then I'm gonna go from large to small as it goes towards the bottom of the layer. So you're gonna see that some of them are gonna stuff underneath the paper layers. Some of them are gonna use some foam adhesive to raise them. A few of them I'm gonna glue straight onto the layout. And like I said, my idea is, when I was doing this, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have all the mixed media behind it, but I like it. I really like it. And what my idea was, think of something exploded. So a lot of it's gonna stay in the middle because the picture was there, and then the rest of the stars are just gonna be everywhere. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. You're gonna see that I'm glued them all down. I'm gonna take it off camera because I did play with the formation of some of the stars, and then well, I was happy. Then I'm gonna come back in in focus. And once I have all this in place, because I have all the stars in the papers, I'm not gonna add that many embellishments. Maybe just a few, just to add to the sentiment. And the first thing that I wanted to do was work on a title. And for this, you're gonna see me that I'm gonna bring the puffy stickers. And I had an idea of making the title of this layout say cheese. Because if you realize the picture, my husband is making my nephew smile, which was so funny. But until I pull out the paper, I realized the say cheese is pink. So I thought it's not gonna make sense. So I found the puffy stickers, something that said fun day, and I just put them together. You're gonna see that I bring some of the hearts, I'm gonna bring some of the yellow just to break all the blue that's on the line. And after that, I'm gonna bring a few sentiments. I'm gonna use some of the chipboard stickers. I'm gonna use some of the cardstock stickers just to add some more lines, those little phrase sentiments around the entire. I'm gonna put most of my embellishments on that diagonal line that has all the stars. And you're gonna see right now I'm just adding a few stars in between the papers. I'm adding smaller stars at the edges or at the ends of the paper. Like I said, my idea was just think of an explosion. And once I have that in place, you're gonna see that I'm gonna start bringing a few more embellishments. I'm gonna add, like I said, a few sentiments, phrase stickers. I chose them to in black and mostly white. And you're gonna see, like I said, I add a little bit of foam adhesive to prop them up, just so they don't get buried in the stars and in the papers. I think I added a little heart at the top of the layout. In, like I said, like a diagonal line. I'm adding a chipboard sticker, just things that are gonna bring a little bit of interest and make your eye go all around the layout. but the main focus is going to stay on the picture and the diagonal line. So that's where I'm going to add most of my embellishments. I'm going to add my lines of journal underneath. You're going to see right now at the bottom of the yellow paper, I add just a few lines of journal, and that's pretty much it. The only thing you're not going to see is that I cut some of the papers after just because they were a little bit too long, but that's about it. This layout took some time to put together, but I love how this turned out. Thank you so much, Yana, for providing the sketch. It was really fun to put together. Even though it took time, it was super easy to put together because I had a guide. Having a sketch is a great way to get started and be inspired. And I hope you try it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. And remember to check out Vicki's stuff because it's always amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.